Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. A quick wee update, roundup of the transfer news in and out of Celtic today. A wee bit later than first planned due to a variety of reasons. And there is definite news of Alessandro Bernabei now finally being transferred from Celtic to Internacional in Brazil. They were the club that he was on loan for much of last year. A very successful loan for him. Bernabei voted to be one of the best left backs in their league, and Celtic have sold him for a fee which from some sources is 4.5 million, other sources 5 million pounds. Either way, Celtic making a profit of around 1 million or more on the original transfer fee that brought him to the club a couple of years ago. And so excellent business for Celtic. Don't think there was any real prospect of Bernabei ever getting into Brendan Rodgers' team as a left back. And I may have said before a few times on videos, I don't think Bernabei was in the least bit skilled as a defensive left back. He was a player who probably could happily have played as a left winger or their left wing back with three central defenders behind him to cover for the fact that he can't tackle and had very poor ability in the air. And either way, I do wish Bernabei all the best luck with his career back in Brazilian football, and hopefully his career goes from strength to strength over there. No other definite stories of players coming in and out. One player Celtic were said to be very interested in, Raul Moro of Valladolid in Spain. He is an £8.5 million rated left winger, very highly sought after. However, Celtic were thought at one point to be a team well up in the race to secure his signature on a transfer, as Valladolid were very keen to offload him in this transfer window. However, in his most recent game, he unfortunately got injured, breaking his collarbone, and will be out of football for 6 to 8 weeks. And so, obviously, any possibility of a transfer away from his club in January is now gone. And so, maybe Celtic will rekindle interest in him in the summer, although I suspect by then Celtic already will have a player or two in to back up Maeda on that side. Talking of potential backups for Maeda on the left-hand side, Celtic have been said to have made a £5 million bid for Louis Barry of Aston Villa, with an additional £5 million in add-on clauses. It's thought that Aston Villa don't want to sell Barry at this time and are much more keen to get Barry to sign an extension to his contract. Very hard to get definite details of what Barry's current contract is. It was renewed in August 2024, but not clear if that was for 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, or whatever. But it's thought that his contract actually does run out in the summer. And so if Barry isn't wanting to sign a new contract, and that remains up for debate at the moment, then Villa might be forced to sell him despite what they want to do, as they'll need to cash in on a highly promising player with lots and lots of potential, who has had a very good half season on loan, scoring a ton of goals for Stockport prior to Christmas and New Year break. Couple of players potentially leaving on loan, potentially leaving also on transfers. The Greg Taylor saga continues. Still a lot of uncertainty as to whether he will or won't sign a new contract with Celtic, where he would fit into the Celtic hierarchy of left backs, assuming that the deal for Kieran Tierney goes through in some form in the near future. And now it appears to be strong interest either for a transfer now or a pre-contract deal for Taylor from Dinamo Zagreb, from Espanyol in Spain, and from QPR and Hull in the English Championship. Still waiting to see just where things lie and end up for Taylor. But it may be by the end of this transfer window, it's much more clear what's happening with Greg Taylor. And I did think it was interesting at the weekend that Liam Scales came on to replace him at left back. And it may be that the future plan is to use Scales at left back rather than left-sided centre-back, and dropping Taylor down the pecking order at Celtic, or being a direct replacement for him along with Tierney if both Valley and Taylor leave in this transfer window. Mike Nawrocki is said to be attracting quite a lot of loan interest, but that with the most favoured club and furthest along the lines in terms of contact with Celtic, it's Oxford. Not massively convinced that a loan for Mike Nawrocki going to Oxford is good for him in terms of his career, and I can't see 4 or 5 months playing for Oxford doing Nawrocki any benefit either in terms of his career or improving him as a player for Celtic. Unlike Stephen Welsh going to Mechelen in Belgium for a loan for the remainder of the season, at least he's going to be getting good, top quality, regular first team football, although apparently his first game for Mechelen didn't go well. The saga of Luis Palma is ongoing. It would appear that the top two candidates to get Luis Palma are more likely to be on transfers rather than loans, and that's Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, the two top teams in Greece, where of course he had a successful spell before joining us 18 months ago. I don't see Luis Palma leaving the club until the end of the European campaign, nor do I see him going unless we do sign one or two backups prior to the end of the transfer window a week today at 11 p.m. One final piece of news to update on. A number of stories developing today that Nicholas Kuhn, who has had obviously an excellent season for Celtic both in domestic football and in the Champions League games, is being intensely scouted and followed by Newcastle, who apparently have sent their scouts to watch Nicholas Kuhn in his most recent games. And there is quite a lot of speculation that Newcastle are preparing a £25 million bid for Nicholas Kuhn in this transfer window. I would fully expect that Celtic will resist any effort to sell Kuhn in this transfer window, and I don't see Celtic agreeing to the sale of any of their key players. The transfer interest in Kyogo for the moment appears to have gone away, and by coincidence it's also Kyogo's 30th birthday today, and the inside gossip is that Rodgers has no intention of letting Kuhn or Kyogo go, and that's also the position of the board. They don't want to sell any of Celtic's key players, with Celtics remaining in contention for the treble this season and progress in the Champions League as well. So that finishes things off for today. Tomorrow we'll do a roundup of all the transfer stories and loan stories, etc., along with starting to have a look at the potential lineup and tactics, etc., for the Young Boys Bern Champions League game on Wednesday. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.